everybody, good morning. Welcome back into the AM show. Now today we are joined by Nanda Prabhakar, who is the Executive Director of the Opportunity Hub, which is a local nonprofit committed to ensuring essential services are accessible to the community. So everybody, please put your hands together for Nanda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you
wonderful
doing?
to be here.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it is a really horrible rainy day outside, but it's great in here.
Yeah, it's
Lovely
great
to
in
see
here.
you.
Well, you're making us bright. I love the outfit. I was telling you this. The glasses, the blazer. She came ready to go this morning.
Sometimes you got bring a little bit of the brightness inside.
Yeah, of course. Well, you are doing just that. And not just inside. You're also bringing the brightness to the community and to all the people that you work with. So I know I gave you a little bit of an introduction there, but I want to kind of just take it back a little bit and talk about your journey into social work, into community development, and how you kind of got to where you are today.
It's a long journey.
It is? All right, we have time. We have time.
But thank you for asking. So I am a former direct practice social worker. I got into the field right out of college, and I knew that I wanted to do something not only that helped people, but I also just loved hearing people's stories and figuring out what their goals are and helping them get towards that goal. So I started my career journey actually in North Philadelphia and worked in a community center near Temple Hospital, and spent my time at the hospital working with new moms and then working in the community center with teens, young adults, and other community members, and loved it.
Wow.
And then at that point realized, maybe I should go to school for this. Maybe this is something that's real and it's not just something that's fleeting. So went to get my master's of social work at UC Berkeley. So, flew across the country, decided to try something a little new.
That's great.
So lived in the Bay Area for a couple of years in Oakland. And at that time, I went to school and then did my social work internship with the San Francisco Unified School District.
Great.
So spent time my first year working with foster kids who were aging out of the system. And as any of us who know about the foster care system, it's not easy when you're in it, but it's even tougher when you age out. So when you're 18 years old and you don't have a parent or guardian who's helping you figure out what happens after you cross the stage with that piece of paper and a diploma, how do you become independent and how do you become an adult? So I did that my first year, and then my second year I worked in 2 schools, an elementary school and a high school, doing therapy, doing groups, things like that. It was amazing. And then decided to come back across the country and ended up in New York.
No, that's an incredible journey, and that it took you kind of all across the country as well. What's something that doesn't matter where you are that kind of has in common that you've noticed with the people that you help?
Oh, well, I think the thing that's always, I think a commonality for all of us as humans is making connections, right? And that's always what we find out. It's what works. So whether you're talking about peers and friends or even within your own family, even though we're not supposed to have favorites, we do, right? We have the people that we share with, the people that we talk to, the people that we trust, people we have fun with. And I think the same thing is true in human services work and social services, that's usually the first thing you have to do is build that connection. Because through that connection, you get trust. And after you build that trust, then someone is willing to say, you know what? Nanda, you're my social worker. Social workers don't always have the best name, but I trust you. You seem like you are actually on my side, and how can we work together to help me get where I want to go?
Because you build that connection, and then they're able, they're open up to you a little bit more and stuff. Now let's talk about the Opportunity Hub. How did that come to be? How did you get involved with them, and what is the mission of the Opportunity Hub?
So the Opportunity Hub, we are what's called a settlement house, and we are located in East New York, the south end of East New York specifically, Starrett City and Spring Creek Towers. And what settlement houses do is that we work with community members of all ages providing a variety of services. And specifically, the other piece of it is that we are really, really interested in making sure that we partner with community. So 70% of our staff are current or former residents of the neighborhood we serve. And that is really important to us because we don't want to be the sort of people that come into a neighborhood or a community and say, the statistics tell us that you need this service.
But you don't live here and you don't know any.
And I don't know, I've been doing this for a while, but I don't know you. I don't live here. I don't know what the specifics are. So being able to have our team in every level of the organization, and what I mean by that is our executive team, our direct practice team, our development team, our front desk staff. Within every department we have folks from the neighborhood who are part of this process with us. And collaboration is really key. And our goal, as I said before, is really to think about the words in our name, the Opportunity Hub.
Yeah.
So what are the opportunities that people in our neighborhood need, and how can we help them get there?
Yeah.
And how do we create a space for anyone in the community to come to us and say, I don't know if you do this, but this is what we need. And for myself and my team to then respond with, hey, you know what, we don't do that, but someone else does, so let's create a network. Or ideally, we do that, and that's fantastic. Go talk to this person down the hall. Let's schedule an appointment, right? And let's make this work.
Yeah, connecting everybody together, kind of being that center point where people, because they trust you,
Correct.
because they know that you know what's up, being in that area, they can come to you and you can kind of facilitate that. I think that's exciting. So what specific programs do you guys offer? Because I know you also offer some youth programs as well.
We do.
Yeah.
So we divide our services up into what we call pillars. We started with 3, now we have 5, so we're growing.
There you
So
go.
our 3 original pillars were youth development and education. So under that, we do a teen after school and summer program, which is a drop-in center. We run a drop-in center for young adults who are 18 to 26. We also do wraparound services at the elementary school on site. And then we do fun things like read alouds for the pre-K and 3K students and, help them with early literacy. We're also working with the parents and guardians of all those students.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and with our teen program and with our young adult program to some degree, our real goal here again is connectivity, building community, building collaboration and trust. So yes, in our other pillars, we do have what we call future-focused growth, which is college prep, college retention for people that are already in college, workforce development, financial empowerment. And as you might imagine, for your average 14-year-old who's looking for a place to hang out after school, they really are not going to be impressed by someone coming up to them and saying, I know you just got dismissed from school, but what do you want to do with your life?
Yeah. They're like, I don't want to talk about school
that's not
anymore.
what I'm here for. So instead,
in
our teen program and to some degree our young adult program, it's really about building that base and building that trust. And so I often say, come for the video games and the anime and the snacks, stay for the college prep, the career prep, and the budgeting help.
Yeah.
And then our last original pillar we call well-being, and that is, case management, counseling, advisement, health access, the health resource fairs. We just did a big turkey giveaway and coat giveaway right before the holiday.
Yeah.
And we've been collecting donated gifts from New York Cares and from Warner Brothers Discovery, Citadel Financial Securities, and actually Condé Nast.
That's huge to be able to help folks. It is so, wow. First of all, that is a lot you guys are doing. I don't know how you're managing all of it, but it is all such important work that you're doing as well. Being that kind of beacon, that center, that place where kids can go, especially, so that way they don't end up on the streets, because we see so many tales, so many times of what happens when kids don't have a place to go, or they don't have a place at home, or they don't have a center. So I think what you guys are doing at the Opportunity Hub is great. It is an opportunity for kids. And I just want to know, what do you think right now from all these youth that you guys have met, what's the pressing issue that they're facing today? Is it social media? Is it the bullying that's happening on there? Is it maybe gun violence out here? What do you think it is?
Sometimes you got to go back to basics. To be really honest with you, we've been having a lot of conversations in the nonprofit space in New York City about building networks, right? So social media is a social network, right? And as an entire network of support of peers, we hope, and positive peers that exist in that space just as much as there is the cyberbullying and all the negative pieces. What I think is very interesting between both the growth of social media and of course COVID, where we all kind of retreated into our shells and got isolated, is making sure that we still have human connection and that we still understand how to interact with each other in spaces, right? In public, in person. And what we're finding at the Opportunity Hub, as well as other places and other folks that I've been speaking with, is that actually is the thing. Because once you do feel like you have that ecosystem that supports you, some of these other stressors and things that are going on in the outside world, at least you know you have support, right? So you're not alone when you're thinking about, anxiety over gun violence. You're not alone when someone picks on you on, Instagram or whatever it might be, that you do have this fallback place. And for us, what's really important is making that a combination of peers, trusted adults, and people of all ages. We often find there's an assumption when you work with youth that youth like people that are cool and that are their age. I will attest to the fact that that is 100% not true. I am like 7 times older than they are and have never been called cool a day in my life. So
I think you're pretty cool, okay?
Well, thank you. I think what it comes down to is being real, right? Being a real person, being your real self, and allowing that person to be real with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, to your question about the other kinds of programs we offer, I think that's probably why we have such a variety. We also have a garden space that we're expanding into a 1/2 acre farm.
Wow.
Yep. And what's a different way of engaging, right? So for our young people that perhaps do actually want to dig in the dirt and have this experience and to learn through experience and not through someone, you know, not only through lessons.
Yeah.
That this is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
And we recently started working with the Spring Creek Sun, formerly known as the Starrett Sun, a 50-year-old community newspaper.
Nice.
And that's really important to us because yet again, that's a way for us to be part of that feedback loop between community and us, to make sure we're telling the stories that are important, to make sure we're highlighting the people that are important, and so that together we grow as a community.
Yeah, wow, it's a lot, and I think that you really are. You're helping to shape the community in a positive outlook in a way, and you're so right that coming off of COVID, I feel like all of us, no matter your age, we all got a little bit isolated, a little bit more messed up in a way, because mentally when you are apart from other humans, you tend to go down a path in certain ways. But I just want to know, because you have your hands in so many different things, you're working on so many different programs as well. What do you do in order to recharge yourself so that way you're able to give all of you to the people who need it the most?
Well, that is such a great and hard question. Self-care is one of those, oh man, it's such like a red flag word, especially in social services and with women, right?
Yeah.
Like women, we're not great at taking care of ourselves first, right? We don't do the airplane thing of put your mask on first before you help someone else. We're terrible at it. But what I will say is what actually keeps me going is the work itself. So what I mean by that is I used to be a direct practice person, right? I used to be in community with young people and old people and out at the block party doing that all the time. And as I've, gone up the ladder, I've had more of an office job.
Yeah.
But I make sure at least, ideally once a week, to go do something with our young people. So to go stop by the young adults program for their culinary arts session, or to stop by the young adults program to get into a heated debate about anime or whatever the heck is going on that day.
I like it.
And that is what recharges me, right? To understand that the 3 hours prior that I've spent with Excel spreadsheets and, making PowerPoint decks, whatever else, has a purpose.
It's worth it.
And this is the purpose.
Yeah, it's worth it. You're right, because you can get just so caught up behind the screen and you're like, hang on, what am I doing on the screen and how is that actually impacting real life? And it really is with what you're doing. Now, I want to know, you guys are already doing so much. You went from 3 pillars to 5 pillars, different outreach you're doing in garden. Where do you see the Opportunity Hub, let's say 5-10 years from now? What are your long-term goals with it?
So I actually really want to see us strengthen what we currently do. Despite having all of these pillars and all of these people, there are 22 of us now, which is amazing. We really started, I was the first employee 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
And started my journey with the Opportunity Hub as an army of one, right? So we've gotten quite a lot done in 3.5 years. And I feel like there might be a period of rest, right? Of understanding how all these components come together, how we can strengthen what we already do, and how do we just take a breath, right? To your point of taking a pause sometimes to recharge. And it's something we have to do as an organization. And we do that, through quarterly reviews, and we do that through annual meetings, and we do that by having a ridiculous amount of fun with each other. But I think that for the next 5 years, that's what I'd really like to see.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see us figure out and solidify our framework. There are so many nonprofits throughout the New York area. So we find ourselves to be amazing and unique and wonderful.
You guys are? Everything I've heard, of course you are. Yeah.
So we would just like to continue to work on how we translate that to everyone else, right? How do we share our story? How do we start thinking about the parts that many of my staff members hate, but the data, right? The impact data. How are we looking at that, and how are we proving to others, and ourselves, right? That what we're doing has purpose. And what we're doing is really impacting the community in the way that we intend.
Yeah. Well, I think it's doing all of those things, and I think it does have purpose, everything that I'm hearing. And I'm so glad that you were able to come here today and share with us a little bit about the Opportunity Hub. And guys, if you want to learn more about the Opportunity Hub, we do have the website. We can put it right below in 1 second. But we're just so grateful for what you're doing, and I hope that it inspires other folks that if you're not alone in this world, and that there are organizations like yours out there, especially if you guys are in Brooklyn, that people will be able to help you. All all you have to do is ask. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on today
Thank you
and helping us spread the word.
Yeah, we're so excited. And whenever you have anything new that you guys are doing, any other outreach programs, please come back on and share it with us. We would love to hear more.
Absolutely will.
All right, thank you so much for being here, Nanda. All right, guys, that was amazing. It was a lot of information, and I'm so glad I heard all of that. I'm so happy with what you guys are doing. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we have a little bit more left of the show on this Monday when we return. Don't go anywhere.
All right.